Alright, hey, what's up? In this video, I want to show you how to make a metal material like this in an easy way. This is from a recent render that I made of some knight armor. Basically, what you want to do is download this pack or a pack like it. This one's called Free Surface Imperfections pack by this guy, and it's on ArtStation. I don't think you have to be a member or have an account to download this. But I'm not sure. Just Google this, Free Surface Imperfections pack, and it should show up. And what this pack contains, or its images like this, smudges, water stains, scratches. It has some I think these are used for brushes. I never do that though, but you can do that, so that's cool. And what you can do with these is you plug them in and use them as roughness and normal maps. And then you can get really nice wear and grime on your, you can use it on metal, you can use it on basically any material, and it will look cool. For this to work, you want to have good UV unwrapping. A lot of times you can get away with just using cube unwrapping, which is just, select all faces, press U, then you can press C, and it does that like an automatic unwrapping. This time though, I wanted to be a bit more careful with it, so I did a manual unwrapping here with seams and everything. One important thing is if you've used subdivision, like the subdivision surface modifier or the bevel modifier. I think it's mainly when you use the subdivision surface modifier. You want to apply those before you do the unwrapping, or you might get some stretched textures in the edges here mainly. Maybe there's a workaround without applying this the modifiers, but I don't know that. So do that. Do the application first. All right, so here's the node setup for this material, and basically it's one texture going into the roughness and then another one going into a bump node that goes into the normal, and then I use a noise texture for the color. But here for the first one, for the roughness, I use water stains 11, and it's something like this, which is just gonna give you some smudges. And what I like to do is set the color space to non-color. It's by default set to sRGB, and I don't know if it actually makes a difference. Let's check. It kind of does, but I think you're supposed to do that for some reason. I don't know why, but I do it, so you should as well. And then I usually put a color ramp in between the texture and the roughness, so you can sort of adjust the look. By default it would look like this, so this one's all black and this one would be all white, and that's a bit much in my opinion. So I made this one less white and this one less black basically. And you can also move them around to make the sort of transition a bit sharper. Can look a bit weird though. It's quite subtle. Let's see if we only have the roughness. Okay, yeah, it's still there, you can see it. Looks good. But yeah, then for the bump, here I used scratches 11, and I usually use scratches for the bump maps. The other ones are only for roughness maps, I would say. I guess you could use them as color maps as well if you want, but yeah, scratches 11. And that goes into a bump node, and that's where you do all of the kind of adjustment. By default this is set to 1 meter, and I think this is in meters, so that's a lot. Now it's set to 1 millimeter, and then the strength is lowered. And that's pretty much it. For the noise, if you want some extra detail, okay, let's see what happens if you remove this. Yeah, it does look kind of flat. Let's see in rendered mode. I mean, yeah, it still looks cool, you can stop here and be like, all right, this is cool. But what I did in this one is use a noise texture, and the settings, I increased the scale a little bit. No, wait, did I? I think that's the default value actually. I just have it in 4D so that you can sort of change the randomization. It's just, you can get some different variants without changing any of these. If we look at only this, only the color, actually let's only look at this. That's kind of the texture you get. It's very uneven, kind of worn color, which is cool. And this is just, picking some different colors. When you have several kind of markers like this, it can give some cool effects compared to when you're just using like two, like one at the end and one in the beginning. If you want to go even crazier and add some even more imperfections, what you can do is add another principled BSDF shader, and then you want to add a mix shader, and then plug in the thing we made earlier, and then plug in the other one, and then plug in that to surface. And then the way we want to mix these, let's think about that for a second. But first of all, let's say we want to mix this with some patches of rust. So let's do that. And if you have the Node Wrangler add-on, you can press Control Shift. Actually, you press that so it's active, and then press Control Shift T, right? Yeah, okay. And then you find the rust material that you want. Very rusty metal. I have one here. Okay, that's perfect. And when you're in here, you want to select all of the textures that you want. So I want color, roughness, metalness, the normal, and displacement. And it should hook all of these up correctly. Let's move them up a bit so they're not completely in the way. I'm not sure if this displacement is going to be an issue, but let's just keep it connected like that. It goes into here, and it basically acts like a second bump map. So now we have an even mix between these two materials, which is not what we want. Let's see how it looks. Probably looks bad. Yeah, it looks like that, which is not good. So what we want to do is we want to plug in something here into the factor. So first of all, you get a mix color node, and in the top input here, we want a noise texture. Press Ctrl T to get the mapping. Usually when you have procedural textures like this, you want to use object. Plug that in here. Yeah, that goes into the top one, and then in the bottom one, what you want is, let's not use this one actually, let's use the one up here. You want to get the roughness, not the metallic, the roughness. It might work with others as well. Like, I'm not exactly sure how this even works the way it does, but the roughness is what I've used before, or that's how I learned it from my friends. So. And this should be set to overlay, and then factor is all the way 1. And then you put that into the factor here. Let's see how that turned out. Awful, but yeah, I think the issue is we need a color ramp node right here. So let's just set that to material preview, and let's add a color ramp. And then here, I think this is where the magic is going to happen, basically. Okay, let's see. Now we're getting some patches of rust. It still looks very strange for some reason. I think it's because of the displacement thing that I was worried about. So yeah, let's not have the displacement connected. That's what was messing it up. But so you see now we have like this patch of rusty material here, but we want to adjust that a little bit. So we can do that first of all by, let's change this again so it's not lagging so much. But you can always, I like having it 4D so you can change the randomization, get some different variants. Let's see if we can get some nice patches here so we can like see something clear. Okay, here. This is a bit too round, so to speak. The edges are a bit too soft. We can just, let's pick actually constant. That could work. That's going to give a really sharp edge. Yeah, that's better, but it's still not perfect. So let's add some detail, probably some roughness, not too much I guess, but something like that, you know? Yeah, I probably would want more little pieces like this, and then maybe you can, you know, dial it in a bit. One issue here, I guess, is that it like continues from one piece to another, which it really wouldn't do in real life, which probably could be fixed by using the UV instead. Let's see. I think that's fixed it now instead, since like my UV maps for these pieces are like pretty much the same. If we look here, looks like that, looks like that. Yeah, you could like rotate these UV maps and you would get, because now this like little smudge here is like being repeated on these, which can look kind of weird, but that's, you know, an easy fix, I guess, just rotating your UV maps a bit. So yeah, that's what you can do. It doesn't look super great, but it's a nice way to mix textures, basically, or mix different PBR materials. And you can like, yeah, make it really rusty, or just a little bit. See how it looks in a rendered view? It looks all right. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.